A little blue dream.
Yeah. Let's get dreamy.
I feel like I didn't even break the membrane.
Because this is you hitting a vape. I'm like, hey, there's a button you have to hold. There's a mechanism that needs to heat up. It heats up the oil. The oil lets off the vapor. Then, you're just like.
Well, this stuff's strong.
I'm not getting high.
It's strong.
Hold it down for a second.
It's strong, and so that if you do get a little something, you only want a little something.
Oh, I never only want a little something. I'm always like, if I'm going to put something in my lungs, I want it to affect me. I want it to affect me for a while. So.
Well, I got something.
Yeah.
I got something.
A little twist. A little fall twist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do the season right.
Let's do this right for once.
We're always dialing it in. Like, we joke about how, like, every year keeps getting better, but it should be like that. Like, you should be dialing it in.
It should be like that.
It should be like that.
You're absolutely right. I never really thought about it like that because there's a way to frame it where you're trolling yourself through life.
What do you mean? Like when you're like, let's make this year even better than the last.
Yeah, I've already thought about this for 2025
because we can't top
2024 was such a like, motherfuckers, here we go, let's go. And we got that Marvel job, and we have the money for Wild Magic, and like we're running around, and like we're doing our favorite thing. We're working and we're playing, and we're making friends and traveling the country, and like we had a vision for this year being a big year of like fuck yeah energy, like let's get fucking back out there, let's conquer, and here's the vision, here's what we're gonna be doing each month, and just crushing it. And I'm already like, how do you follow that? You know what I mean?
Well, you dial it in. I mean, I think it's also a big part of it is like, yeah, there's the crushing it, but there's also the like, I keep being like, let's not make plans, you know? And there is like a balance between making plans and not making plans. But I think some of our favorite nights is like, we're like, oh, spaciousness.
Yeah.
Like not boredom, but like, okay, well, how are we going to fill this space?
I think it's something we were a little bit more hesitant to do when we lived in the city for so long. Because you're like, well, we're paying for this fucking place here. Let's use it.
Yeah.
Let's fucking use our place. And like just the idea of us having like lots of spaciousness wasn't even a concept to us. I think we were just like pedal to the metal. Let's fucking go energy. You know how a lot of people say that now? That seems to be the new thing. Everyone screams. Yeah, everyone loves screaming that. But that was us down in the city, and now it's like, yeah, a little bit more spaciousness seems to serve us, but it makes me nervous at first, you know?
Why?
Because I'm like, Cass, you know I need action.
Oh, yeah,
You know I need to socialize. You know I need to be around people and have things going on and have a reason to fucking take a shower or a reason to live, you know? And you're not as on that tip. You won't reach that conclusion as quick as me, so I get nervous when we have too much baked in, like, I don't know, we'll see what happens this time. Because I'm like, yeah, I know what that's going to lead to. You know, me smoking weed, you're scrolling through your fucking phone, you know? Like, it can lead to that, so...
It totally can. Mm-hmm. But I feel maybe I shouldn't even have brought up the spaciousness thing. Maybe I
like it.
Okay.
I like it because I mean we're living it right now.
I just really appreciate slowing down. Slow it way down.
Yeah.
You don't need anything. You don't need to go anywhere. It's all right here.
Yeah.
What is here?
It's like that guy in Florida, man. He's like, it all just slowed down on me. Because we're like, how did you end up being like a garbage picking homeless guy? Like, what do you, like we found this guy looking in a damn dumpster.
Yeah.
We're like, what are you doing, man? How did this happen? He's like, it all just slowed down on me. And I, at the time I'm kind of thinking like, God, that sounds great. You know what I mean? I wish it would slow down a little bit. But now we're like really kind of like taking the bull by the horns and saying a slow life serves us better because we're able to be more present. And like, I'm able to remember what's going on. I'm able to form memories. I'm able to take things a little bit deeper, and it just feels like less stress all around.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we've tapped into something that I think might scare a lot of people away.
Well,
You being 35 and dressed like an old grandma and ready to slow down. I'm kidding. I love
It's
it.
okay. This was a grandmother's sweater that I was like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
If that's getting donated, I'll take it. No, I think what I'm trying to get at and what I've been enjoying is everything I do, I extract a lot more pleasure out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, we're going for a walk after dinner. I'm like, this is the best walk ever.
And you're very present for it.
Right.
And I think what it's initiated for us, and it's beautiful as the seasons change, is to have we're slowing down on purpose, we're eating better, and I feel like it's initiated like a childlike wonder where we're like, oh my God, look at this leaf. Like, whoa, look at that last little bit of sunlight. You can only see it on the top of that tree.
Maybe like fall is a permanent sunset. Obviously not permanent. A longer.
It's the magic hour of a year. If the year were a day,
yeah.
we'd be in the magic hour right now. And we're about to go into the night of a year. That's how it feels to me,
mm-hmm.
right?
Totally.
So it's probably also like why, like, especially now that you're thinking more cinematically, you know, you're thinking as a cinematographer. It's cool. Like, all these factors have us, I guess, ultimately just being a little bit more appreciative, I think. And I think that's part of shit getting better, like what you started off saying.
I mean, I don't even know. I think it's conscious, like, slow down. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
slow it down and, like you're saying, that's not, scrolling is not slow. So that's a very fast activity.
Yeah.
But there's so much that you want to do in this life. And it's like, I'll never do it if I don't slow down.
Yeah. I agree 1,000%.
That's actually sounds very counterintuitive.
I have so much to do. I got to get to all this stuff, but the only way I could do it is by slowing down time.
Kind of.
Mm.
Like the time you are there for it, you make it longer.
Time marches on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, you can march to the beat of your own drum. You could do your own thing, but time marches on. And it's just dragging us towards something. And I think by slowing down and getting like a little bit more appreciative and bringing that whole system of gratitude online, I think that's how your life can get better and better and better, even without like drastic material changes to your circumstances. Because like that's one of the reasons our life is cool, is like we live a lottery ticket. Like any day we could get a call for like a big time commercial, and that we have to be in Australia for 6 months, and so it's kind of cool, but the material circumstances of our life probably aren't gonna change that drastically. You know, it's kind of cool to like chase that carrot a little bit and hold out hope and, you know, want all that, but like I don't know. I think my desire system is getting much more geared towards what you're saying. More gratitude, less feeling the need to fill up a schedule or overly fill up a day. And we've been on that tip for a while.
Yeah, when you made the rule like 5 years ago that you're like one thing a day.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that we can't do more than one thing a day, by the way. It means that, though, if we do, like, fucking right on. Awesome. Look at us.
Well,
Look at us. We went hiking and had a dinner party with friends. You know, like usually when I'm like, hey, one thing a day, it's like, hey, let's not overcommit ourselves. You know, it's with a sense that like we should have some spaciousness. And I'm also always just trying to get laid and be like, let's not.
You know, when things get busy, I'm like, who are you again?
Well, we just don't have time.
Yeah, no, it's a good priority. No, but it's like one thing a day, one thing a month.
Mm-hmm.
But just make that like a big and an important
And then
thing.
one thing a year. What the hell? Look at the smoke coming in here.
It's so windy out.
Is that what's going on right now?
Yeah.
So is one thing a year too? Is that too little? Or are we talking big things?
I think it's 3 things a year.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
But these are like the big things.
So what would be our 3 things this year?
Work, movie.
We did Marvel,
Yeah.
Wild Magic,
And then like
chemsex.
yeah. Some sort of wild exploration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the one thing a day, but it doesn't feel like one thing a week. You know what I mean?
It feels like a million things in a day. But
yeah.
when the thing is like,
Slow down.
yeah, or it's like Katie's having a good day, good week. We are doing Katie. What does Katie want to do? And it's like, let's go apple picking. Let's get a pumpkin. Let's do stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, that's our day. And so
that's all she can handle.
So you can be there fully in that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, of course, it's never one thing a day. Of course, it's not one thing a day, but it's like you treat it with the presence of that.
But Katie, my sister Caitlin, who we help take care of, and she has epilepsy, and she's 36, and our dear friend, and but she needs a lot of care, and the one thing a day kind of it works for her. You know, it's kind of perfect. And if we do more than that, it's like, hell yeah, Katie, like, wow, I can't believe we did all this stuff. But you see, like, what one thing a day does to somebody. And that maybe not everyone's as tapped into and sensitive to their body as someone like Caitlin is. Because she's literally going to have seizures if she gets overwhelmed. So we can't push it. You know what I mean? So it's always she has really trained us and like fine-tuned our like reading the emotions and the needs of another person thing, which we were already pretty good at.
Well, and I think that's why like 9 to 5, 5 days a week doesn't work for people, because the one thing a day then becomes working for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like then they have to squeeze all the things they would need to do for themselves into 2 days, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on Saturday, next thing you know, they're trying to do 9 things, and it's, go to the Home Depot, and then you got to do this and that. It's a nice little Saturday if you look at it, but, like, it's too much for a man, you know?
No, that's why I like that Bernie was, like, introducing, like, 4-day weeks, like, mandated almost.
I wouldn't wait around for the government to mandate that for your life. I would just make it a mandate. And, for us, like, it sounds like we're rich. We're not. We are just willing to live with a lot less in exchange for more time.
You know what I just did? I was like, I want fleece-lined pants.
You're really telling some deep secrets now.
Some deep secrets.
Here we go.
And then
Strip shop.
Now I'm just like, I'll wear my pajama pants under my jeans. And now I have fleece-lined jeans. Or not fleece-lined, flannel-lined jeans.
Yeah. But you have to have big Jenko jeans to pull this off.
That might require a purchase.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you're talking about? Like, is that why you mentioned that? Like, instead of buying something, you were like, I can make this work.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never buy anything.
I know. You're really good about not buying stuff.
And then you're like, I'll take you to a damn record fair. And I'm like, okay. And you just bought me whatever I wanted.
Well, you bought yourself. Yeah, we bought it.
I go to a record fair and I just like go through every record and pull stuff out, and I just like I don't even look at anyone or talk to anyone. You're being like social with all the vendors and everyone. I'm just like looking through, putting stuff in a pile. I'm like, Cass, buy those. I go to the next vendor. You're like, oh hi, okay, how much is it, Venmo? Okay, it's pretty funny, but that's what I buy. That's what I spend money on.
It's a great way to spend money.
Yeah.
And I think spending money on stuff that you want to not decompose.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm going to invest in oil, which I have to already to just drive my car, this is the oil I want to invest in. It has beautiful sounds on it.
Exactly.
And it leads to it lends to the pacing of our life and the shape of our life feeling a little bit more in our control. Like we go home, it's like we bought 10 records. Like, all right, now instead of opening up our computers or getting on our phone or trying to find a movie or whatever, it's like let's refurbish these the best we can. Like wipe them down, make sure everything's
That's what I
nice. Like
mean.
get every like really clean every record and like be like, oh my god, the lyrics. This is still the original lyric thing from 1968. Are you fucking kidding me? And it's just like bringing you into a realm of gratitude and appreciation and excitement to hear this thing. Not the instant fix of like I want to hear "Give Me Shelter" right now, but like, oh, I can't wait to hear it. I got to find it. Oh, cool. All right, it's a little. There's some fingerprints on it, and we just take our time. We're talking about it, and then you're reading the record sleeve and all the people they thanked and all the musicians who worked on it, and then you have to flip the record. So you're like you have to kind of like you have to pay attention. It slows you down, and I just find myself listening in a different way. It's probably the Hertz or something. I don't know. It just attracts me more. But I think it also like I don't know, sometimes bringing in the analog technology helps create just like a nice, much more chill, mellow vibe that I dig.
I like
That I'm
it.
always refining.
I like it. Well, that's what I mean, like slowing down time. Like when you slow it down and you have interests, you just have more time for those interests. Like we're like, okay, now we're going to spend our weekends helping the family, but also if we have time, we are going to scan the barcode on every record we have.
Yeah.
Right? That'll be fun.
Yeah. I mean, it might sound lame, but I'm like, I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited to like again just go through the record collection and be like, wow. Because for me, it's not just a record. It's like
It's a
where
record of an event.
well, but it's like where did I get this? You know, like when was the last time someone played this? Like we pulled out Leonard Cohen songs from a room, and I'm like, I'm holding this thing that's from 1969, no 71, and I'm like, I wonder when the last time someone fucking played this. Like, how many times has this record exchanged hands? How did I get it? Who played on it? How did we get here? Whoa, that record. He started making that album with David Crosby as the producer and said this doesn't make any sense, and he ditched it, and then this is the record he ended up with where Charlie Daniels is playing bass. Charlie fucking Daniels is playing bass and violin and guitar on this. And he said that Leonard Cohen was so nervous in the studio that they had to play so delicately to just kind of frame his voice, and that they felt like musical bodyguards
Mm-hmm.
to not let bullshit and bullshit vibrations onto this thing that this guy was taking very seriously. He took very seriously the making of this record. And so I take seriously the listening to it, you know? Like, there's some things that were just shit out and they sound like shit and they look like shit and, they're still fun, but it's garbage. But this is like, wow, this is like, I'm going to take time with this fucking 53 years later and really try to pick up on what this motherfucker was putting out there. And it is a very special, rare vibration that, quite frankly, in a certain mode of life, you're not going to be able to appreciate. So, yeah, if I'm going to spend money, it's going to be on vinyl records.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We're coming up on episode 200 of your music show.
Church of Chill.
Church of Chill. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. We used to do it probably, I don't know how many episodes. I think the first 90 episodes were just like, we would do a podcast and then a Church of Chill episode would come out and it was all on the same feed. But then we started getting so many copyright strikes. It all happened in one night too. I know you remember. It was like during quarantine, all of a sudden, like all these platforms decided to send bots after us. And we were just like, you can only get 3 copyright strikes and we got 2 within a couple hours, and you lose the whole channel if you get 3. So we had to make a very quick decision to take down all of our content off the internet and put it on patreon.com/churchofchill. And little did I know that a little bot going out there and saying, hey, what you're doing is illegal and immoral and it's not right, would lead us to such cool shit, because I feel like starting the Patreon is like what started the Discord, and what started us being like, well, these people on the Discord are so cool, let's get together with them, which led to Space Camp, which just led to so many new friends. And I've gotten turned on to so many movies and artists and so much new music, and how much bonding we've done with people, how many people we wouldn't even know about if we hadn't put ourselves out there in that way. And it was really, the impetus for it felt tragic. It felt like, I was like, oh no, all my work. Oh, it just felt like this tragedy that we quickly just, alchemized into the best life of our lives.
Well, I think it's what we're talking about is like, and what we're realizing ourselves is like, we're all worshiping. We've said this before. We're all worshiping something, and like, what altar? And you're like, I'm gonna worship the altar of music.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it gives back tenfold.
Yeah, we're all praying whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
We're worshiping whether we know it or not. And we all have altars whether we know it or not. And once I realized that kind of the altar of our life was more of a TV screen, I was like a little disturbed by that. And that's when we got records back around. And now I feel like that's the altar, is all this vinyl that I hope to get to share with people on like a bigger level one day. Tell people about Church of Chill.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Church of Chill. Yeah, we're coming up on episode 200. It's going to be a special one.
I hope so. I mean, I know so.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. Yeah. I want to flip this log real quick.
You have something to express.
I have something to express, which is I need to
Why don't you flip
this
that log? And I'll be right back. That's Cass.
I made it very hot.
My little twisted fire starter. Is this getting too hot? Is this too hot?
Well,
it'll be fine.
I could do that. Do a little protection.
Yeah. Thank you for always being the fire queen.
I do like that I'm the fire person.
Yeah.
I always push it in your face. I say, you like that I'm the fire person, Sean?
So you like that I fucking do your laundry and vacuum and do all the dishes?
Yeah, I do.
I know.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
When you're like, Cass, I woke up and I cleaned the toilet and washed in the shower.
Just in case you don't notice, which I know you won't.
And
I vacuumed the car.
I washed your eye mask.
Yeah.
And all the sheets.
Yeah. Fresh.
No, I mean, I should make an honest house husband of you, but...
I don't know why you've never asked me to marry you. It's kind of crazy. I'm so good. I just try to do the right thing. I try to say, like, hey, look how much money I can make without barely even trying. You know, look at how clean I keep things. Look how I can keep... Look, I'm not falling apart. You know, I'm keeping my body together. And you still are not... You won't pop the question.
I haven't proposed.
You won't do it. You just won't go there. It's crazy.
I know very early on I was like, I love you so much, I would like to take it to the next. I would like to express.
You know, sometimes I tell myself a sob story. I was like, I wish Cass would pay more attention to me. And then sometimes I feel you, and I look over and you're staring at me in a way that I'm like, there's no doubt that you're like I am your life. Like it almost disturbs me sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're staring at me, and I'm like, "What's going on with you?" And you're just like, and it's not a bad thing. Like you like me.
Yeah, I like you.
Yeah, and like sometimes we'll take drugs, and that's when it really amplifies it. And I'm like, "All right, I got this one."
Well,
Even though she never pops the question.
did we talk about love languages on a podcast recently or no?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, I
Who
think
cares if we did?
whatever. I think it's funny that like we did the love language quizzes or whatever. I just like pushed a phone in your face one day.
Oh my God. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, what are these questions? It was like fucking 40 questions about, do you like getting gifts? Do you like receiving gifts? Do you like giving them? And it's like, whatever. A little love language quiz.
Yeah. Well, your love language, your number one love language is attention.
Yeah.
So,
Because I have attention deficit disorder.
no, you don't.
No, I mean, I didn't get enough attention growing up.
Oh, yeah.
The original attention deficit disorder. That's how it used to be done back in the 80s.
Yeah.
We didn't get speed.
You didn't
We
have
got
enough
ignored.
attention to even get diagnosed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even fucking kidding you. I'm not even kidding you. I wouldn't have gotten diagnosed with ADD, but if I did need to be diagnosed with something, I wouldn't have.
No, totally. I mean, that probably determines a lot of
Well, what's your love language?
acts of service.
We're perfect together then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. But, sometimes I like forget how much your love language is attention. It's not just me giving attention to you, it's me giving all my attention to whatever we're doing together. If that's like watching a game or watching a movie whatever it is.
I see memes about this, so I think it must be like a common thing with chicks,
What? Being distracted or
Yeah,
doing
just
two
like
things at once?
just like kind of wanting to like zone out a little bit, I think these iPhones have really done a number on girl brain. It's just like, what the fuck? Oh, you can't watch a movie?
I watch
you
a
can,
movie.
you
I
can.
watch a movie.
You can, but like
And the
literally
Mets were
there's-
down 9-0 yesterday, and I'm sorry, but I was
That's
like,
why they were down 9-0.
I was like, I cannot
I wish Cass would give this her all right now. Just they love attention too.
it is. I do feel it.
The boys called for attention. They were like, "Look, we barely made it into the playoffs. We need your attention now."
I'll give them all my attention tonight.
All right, cool. I appreciate that, and I think they will too.
I promise.
But sitting there, you weren't even doing a 2-screen experience. You were doing a 4-screen experience. You had your laptop open. You had your iPad. I don't know why. I don't know what you were doing. It probably you were doing work. I know you were doing work, but like we're watching the Mets game. You have you're on your laptop, the iPad next to you, and then anytime I try to get your attention, like you snap out of it and anxiously grab your phone, like, oh, I forgot about this for a while. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. What can I say? I was working.
Yeah.
Into the
I
hours.
was thinking about it too. I was like, I'm so appreciative that you're doing this.
Yeah.
You're working on our movie.
Yeah. Yeah, to clarify the one thing a day, like I'm always doing everything all the time. Like I'm always cooking food and doing work and everything, but it's like, what is today about?
Yeah.
What is this month about? What is this year about? What is this life about?
Yes, exactly. And sometimes you got to remind yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's easy to forget. Like the life one is a little harder for us to forget, but we have forgotten it. Where we've been like, whoa, we're filmmakers. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, totally.
We've had to do that. But, it seems crazy.
A few times.
It seems crazy because if you look at our, we very consistently put out films, but there's definitely been a few times when we've lost the narrative.
Yeah.
And you don't even want to know the fucking harebrained schemes we're fucking fixated on when we're not thinking about making films. It really keeps us on the rails, having a craft that I'm always trying to get better at and that fucking humbles you. A craft that just humbles your ass left and right. This is perfect for me. It's like it makes me into a more disciplined person. And, making one of these films for me feels like very much like climbing Mount Everest. very much. It's just like, wow, this is a crazy thing that I'm just going to try to do every year. But it's made me a way better person. But like, I think we both agree, and we've lost focus on this a couple times, but the thing in life is, we're filmmakers or some sort of gonzo documentarian.
I was gonna say we're having fun.
We're having fun.
I was like, that's number one.
That's the vibe. That's the vibe.
I was like, that's number one.
But we're having fun doing what? We're having fun making films, making podcasts, making friends, making community. You know what I mean? But yeah, the umbrella for our life is we want to have fun.
And our fun is like hanging out with your parents and my parents, and you know what I mean?
It's very
like,
wholesome.
Our fun is
There's probably
so
some
wholesome.
people listening to this that got involved with us because we were the opposite of wholesome, and we're sitting here doing nitrous on a podcast in a throuple, you know, on a fucking, you know what I mean? You could see the initial, like the draw towards us, like when we were at our naughtiest. But this is us kind of like, figuring out how to transmute that energy into something a little bit more sustainable. And maybe something ultimately more interesting than chasing stimulus. Because I think we're all already bombarded with it, right?
Yeah, I know. I need to calm my stimulus down.
Yeah, that's what listening to records can really help with that. Reading the lyrics while you listen to the records, even better.
You know what? I can feel you, like, when we're hanging out. Like, I'm like, Sean wants me to focus up. But sometimes then
what am I going to do?
Yeah, but then you look at your phone, too. You're like, all right, I'll just meet you in the focus down. You just meet me there. And I'm like, well, now Sean's looking.
Focus down. Just meet me in the focus down and we're going to be good. You know?
Yeah, it literally is a focus down. And then I'm like, see out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, oh, Sean's in focus down. So, like, I guess we're just here now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to have an aversion to it.
You can't be on all the time.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like I'm like, you should just say it. Cast, focus up. I'm never doing any like last night I was trying to do something on a timeline.
I don't need to say it. You already react to me like that's what I'm thinking. So it's something that you feel weird about. You project onto me. And I'm just like literally watching the game and I like look at you and you're like, sorry. You'll like throw your phone and you're like, sorry, I didn't. And I'm like, fucking do whatever you want. It's your fucking life. Like what you know what I mean? So you obviously already feel you need some sort of daddy to fucking tell you, and you just make me that whether I am it or not. You know, so a lot of times I'm trying to just diffuse you and being like, yo, chill. I don't care what you're up to. Like, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I think you project onto me a lot more focus up energy than I actually have, you know, especially like it's fucking 9 p.m. at night or later. And it's like, what the fuck? I don't need you to focus. You know, what I think is that you would enjoy something more.
Totally.
I think if you fully focused on whatever you were doing on your phone and didn't even pretend to try to be there with me, or if you fully focused on the movie or the game we were watching or the movie we were watching or Kill Tony or whatever, or the podcast we were listening to or the record we were listening to, I'm like, I think more enjoyment could be had in this moment. But if you're not seeking that, that's all good, you know?
I'm like, every day I'm trying to like slow it down, you know?
Yeah.
And be more present. And then I still find myself at 10 p.m. like...
And what's that?
I don't know. Last night I felt like I was like, I don't want to watch the Mets game because they're losing. And
it was so embarrassing.
I was just embarrassed. But then you started doing your own thing, and I was like, my own thing ended up like I wanted to watch a show about pottery, you know?
I know. I like watching that show with you, but I can't listen to it. So I've put in my headphones and listen to something else. And I just watch the people make pottery. It's cool. Like, it's cool. I see what you're up to.
It's relaxing. You're like vicariously creative through other people.
Yeah. And
because you think about, it's like I used to like watching Project Runway because you get ideas. You're like, I'm never going to be a fashion designer maybe, but if I were, this is how I would do it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of activates creativity without having to do anything. I don't know if it's cheap high.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm grateful for so far in our life, and this might change, is I feel like we both gravitated and got lucky because we gravitated towards a medium that is so suited for our artistic voices. And I think a lot of artists could spend their whole life chasing that.
Yeah.
Like, what is my medium? Where should I, and maybe it's, there's a lot of people that can handle doing like multiple things and being really good at multiple artistic mediums, but I'm just glad that for whatever reason, we both had like some precognition that documentary was cool and could be cooler. And because when we were both falling in love with each other and getting into this, it wasn't that cool. And we were like, let's make it cool. Let's be cool. You know what I mean? Not like that we have to try to be cool, but like it's just like this doesn't have to be so lame.
It felt like there was like opportunity for like it to be refreshing.
Yes, yeah,
and we're
to
like,
be better.
Well, it just felt like every short, because we were mainly doing in the short documentary world in like festivals and stuff, and like every short documentary was like exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it was like this profile portrait, and then it's like, so when we were like, okay, well, we're going towards a bigger community, we're like, oh, this will feel refreshing because it'll be different. It kind of necessitates, like, you so don't want to be like everyone else that recognizing a pattern among other people like makes you pushes you into like unconsciously into a gear where you're like, all right, I got to do something different.
Well, I mean, I think if you're going to be an artist and be pretentious enough to want to be an artist and want to have your voice heard, it should be a voice worth hearing, right?
Well, yeah, a different voice, a new voice, right? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think if you're going to bother doing it, you should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you should have an interesting perspective, because that's why we're drawn to the artists we're drawn to. It's just like, I like the way you see the world and what comes, the expression that you have from seeing it that way. And so all I'm saying is I'm glad I'm not 43 being like, I'm so far down the road, even being good at a craft that doesn't give back to me in the way the documentary does. Because it really does. It really teaches me who I am and what I'm all about. And sometimes it surprises me, Sometimes I'm blowing up business opportunities because I'm defending, the sanctity of the people that were generous enough to share themselves on camera with us. And they don't care. They don't even remember us. They spent 10 minutes with us, but I'm like, yo, like I'm protecting these people that were so kind, these angels that like came and like we crossed paths and we captured their essence. And, I think that there's ways to like twist that around and make good business opportunities out of it that I've just like blown up instinctually.
Yeah.
And you've seen that happen.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, I'm not ambitious in like a traditional way. Like I feel like I'm very ambitious, but in a non-traditional way.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like, oh shit, did I like pair up with Sean? And because I don't care about these things, like I killed his ambition. And then I think about all the times that you self-sabotaged yourself in like important circumstances. And I'm like, oh, well, we're meant to be together.
Well, because I'm not ambitious in that way.
Neither am I.
Like, it doesn't mean you're not ambitious. It's just like, I realized, when you're on the other side of one of these blackout, like, oh, did I just blow up our whole thing? That you're like, I must care about something else. I am ambitious and I do want to keep doing this, but I care much more about like a body of work that feels like my own than some sort of number in a bank account that only I would know about anyway. Like, who gives a fuck how much money you have? Who gives a fuck? Yeah, there's a way I probably could have 1,000x'd our income throughout the years. But I don't know. Instead, I have a body of work I'm really proud of and no one got to say shit about. Because we funded them.
Yeah.
Because we said, all right, I'm not expecting anyone else to pay for having my little old vision of things out in the world. I'll fucking pay for it because I want it to turn out a certain way. And I'm just saying, it's given back to me so much and shown me who I am so much that I'm grateful that I'm not spinning in the crisis of what is my life. What should I devote my life to? It's like, I already know I've devoted my life to the people. I'm here to serve the people.
Well, yeah, that's where your acts of service really works out. Because I feel like that's how you give love.
Oh,
and
totally.
attention.
Totally.
I wonder if it's always like your love language is how you receive it is also how you give it or what you want.
It's part of it.
And maybe that's why some people like relate to people in different ways.
I mean, you feel me like you've seen me even lately get a little prickly socially, you know. Not in a social setting, but like that like, hey, we're super generous and we invited these people around, you know, and we took care of them and we put them up and this and that, and they don't invite us anywhere ever. And you just become aware of that. You're like, that must be my love language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I must want it reciprocated in some way. You know, that might sound selfish, but I just don't want to be a chump. You know what I mean? Like, because you and I can craft a great vibe and a great night and a good time and a great weekend. And to do that for people that are like, hey, cool, moving on. We're not going to invite you when we go do that. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that that presses buttons on me must mean something. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, if we have a lopsided thing going on where I'm only inviting you to things, that's going to be short lived. Because once I become aware of it, I'm like, I'm not a fucking chump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think you this is where No, I agree. I agree. I totally agree with you. I think it's like this part of our life where I'm like, I'm trying to enjoy the slowdown. You're like, where's the action? I would do stuff. Where are the invites? I'd go somewhere.
Yeah, and we do get invited to things. I'm just saying, like it's not like we don't have a full social schedule or a lot of options or whatever, and it's not like a lot of people don't invite us to do things. And like our friends Kellyanne and Michael have become our BFFs. Like, damn, shout out to those two. But yeah, over the years, there's definitely been people when you think back and you're like, motherfucker, I got you through a breakup. I got you through the fucking quarantine. I helped you pick yourself up, dust yourself off. I introduced you to drugs. I fucking showed you this. I introduced you to this and then so quickly just start living the new life and don't like reciprocate and don't like. So I'm like, that's not an even exchange. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
not like to me. That's not what like deep down genuine friendship is. And I don't think friendship is transactional, but I just think when there is a total aloofness to like, oh, Sean and Cass were there for me in my lowest times. Like, hey, can we get in on one of the good times too? Like, because fucking Jesus Christ, it seems like all we do sometimes is hold space for fucking people at their lowest. And I'm like, I want to have a fucking great time. You picked yourself up and dusted yourself off now. Like, fucking throw us an invite. Like, what the fuck? Yo, oh, now you're going and having great little Instagrammable days. Like, fucking invite us. We'll probably not go, but like, you know what I mean?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, look, this is like the wispy beginnings of me becoming a little curmudgeonly. You know?
Yeah, you shouldn't become curmudgeon.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to. But it's almost why I have to burn it off and like make it into a joke and like just vent it out a little bit because it's never coagulated into like real feelings or anything. You know that. And even if it did, I can't keep track of it.
You wouldn't remember.
I
anyway.
wouldn't remember. I'm like, don't wait. Are we having a rivalry with that person or?
We don't have rivalries.
No, I'm not even. I don't even mean to say it like that. I'm just trying to be funny. But like, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think you know what I mean. It's just like, yo, I could be asleep at the wheel for years at a time and then just have a moment of clarity where I feel like a fucking chump, where I feel very exposed and vulnerable and a little like I got taken advantage of.
Has that been like a running theme throughout your life? You're like, I'm no chump. You know, like you had to like.
No, because I'm like.
You're
look,
so not a chump that you've never had to have
It's
the I'm no
never
chump.
been a thing.
It was an early integrated life descriptor. I'm no chump.
I mean, I think that like once you, yeah, I don't know. You kind of make a decision not to be that way as a man, and then you say, I'm going to live in integrity with that.
I know when you were like, I'm no chump. I know when it started.
Oh shit, man.
Do you know when it started?
If I knew you, then within the past 14 years, I don't
No,
know.
no, no. Okay, so I think your I'm no chump started when you had your first girlfriend was like you were going to go to homecoming with her and she was telling you
Yes.
all the boys that she was going to dance with at homecoming.
This
And
would have
she,
been like 26, 27 years ago.
yeah, and she was like, I'm going to dance with this boy and this boy. And you're like, I'm not going to the homecoming because
Yeah.
I'm no chump.
Well, look. I had just moved down to Florida. I was starting 11th grade, and I had two beautiful neighbors. They were sisters, and the young one was a grade below me, and the other one, Kathleen, was my grade. The younger one, Melissa, was like, "Do you want to go to homecoming with me?" And I was like, "Holy shit! Look at me! I'm fucking Zach Morris all of a sudden." I was just some fucking regular jabroni up here in New York. My family moved to Florida, and the fucking hot neighbor girl is like, "Let's go to fucking homecoming together." And I was like, "It's fucking on. This is where my life starts." But homecoming was like 2 months away. So, we're just doing the casual dating, my neighbor thing in the meantime. And yeah, one day she was just like, "Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see so-and-so there and Jason, and I'm going to dance with Travis and Chad." And like, and I'm just like, "Wait, what? You're going to be running around with all these guys all night?" Like, I'm the new kid at school. I literally don't know anyone. I'm picturing myself like sitting awkwardly at a table, like, and she was like, "Yeah, well, they're my friends. I'm going to dance with them." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to this thing with you." And whoa, that was my first encounter with, like, unleashing a woman's fury. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She didn't like it. She dumped a whole soda on me. I was sitting at my fucking gateway computer trying to connect to America Online and whatever. It's just after school, and she just comes bursting in there, fucking big gulp soda all over me and the keyboard. And I was just like, I looked at my sister because they were like besties. I said, "Meg," and she just like got her out of there. And then I started dating her sister Kathleen. We were together for 7 years.
You don't just aren't no chump. You
I was like, "Oh, you were gonna potentially, kind of very innocently make a chump out of me? I'll be dating your sister. I'll stay with her for 7 years." No, no, I was like, I was madly in love with Kathleen. I really felt like the gods like put our families next door to each other. So like me and Kathleen were the original, like me and you. We were like the blueprint for this type of thing. Like for even me having a vision of being like best friends, business partners, same interests. Like we go places together, we do things together. It's like, I started off that with
she really
Kathleen.
didn't trigger your abandonment issues.
No, she would go off to work or whatever, and I would just like hang around with Joe and make prank calls. And like she always had a job, like she was always like working and shit. But yeah, no, I never. No, Kathleen was loyal. Yeah, all my babes have always been loyal. you know, and
It's a lot easier to be loyal to someone who's no chump because you're like, I know how this would end.
well, but also like I pay attention to them because it's my love language. And this is where some things have gotten dicey, actually, in my dating life, in my romantic life, is like I feel like I'm not like, I don't talk too much. I'm not like overly verbose. I just like, I try to keep it simple, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like if we're talking, I hope you're listening.
I try.
And the way I do it, the way I show that is I really listen and engage when someone's talking to me. And yeah, that's how me and Kathleen fell in love. That's how me and you fell in love. And
you honestly give me so much attention.
Yeah.
That like when we've dated other people, I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
You don't want so much focus on you. You're like, focus down.
Focus down.
Focus down, my friend.
At first, I'm like it can, and it has like it's an arc or down like arc.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I'm jealous that I'm not getting as much attention. Oh no, thank God. And then back to like, wait, where's our relationship?
Yeah. Yeah. We've gone through that cycle a few times. But the you know, my need to be paid attention to, uh, like, and me extending that to other people has definitely created some confusing. I've had a couple girls turn on me, and like they thought we were like falling in love. I'm like, what are we talking? We're falling in love. We're fucking like work friends. We see each other like fucking every now and then, like, you know what I mean? But when we would see each other, it's like, oh, cool, yeah. Oh, I'll grab a milkshake with you, and you could vent about whatever, and I'll actually listen to you and fucking complain about your parents. I'll listen to you. I'll tell you about mine. I'll ask questions and whatever. You know, like next thing you know, that like they think we're fucking falling in love and that we have some romantic thing going on. It's like, oh no, I have a girlfriend. I'm all set in that department. Like, but it, I don't want to, like, it's like I wouldn't want to change that quality about myself.
It's good to embrace your own love language.
Yeah. And it's also just easier to own it at my age, you know? Like, everyone's confused in their 20s. Like, that's when this shit would happen. People get confused. Yeah. You're like, oh, is this a thing? Are we falling in love? Is this sexual? And it's like, I don't know. Like, as life moves on, that just so becomes less and less, I think, you know, part of every exchange with everyone. So
yeah, the territory.
I feel like, and look, 2024, we're saying has been the best year ever. This is like been our first year that we've been clean and sober off babes since, I don't know, I don't even know,
2015.
Yeah, but we might have even, I mean, 2015 we were running around with Mallory.
2014, 2013. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's us focusing up.
Yeah.
The focus down is like, all right, we don't need to take our life so seriously.
Well, I think anyone who's been in a
roughshod.
anyone who's been in a relationship knows how much energy a relationship takes. And so it's like, just multiply that by another person. Like, just think of the most absorbing relationship you've ever been in or currently are in, and now add another person to that. And it just multiplies. And so your life becomes the one thing of your life, the one thing you're focusing on that year or that month or whatever is
the relationship.
The relationship.
Yes.
And the relationship becomes the number one focus. And when the relationship's the number one focus, that's fine and can be fun, especially when the whole world shut down.
Well, it makes life simpler. I mean,
it's like heroin being your one thing. When you're addicted to heroin's your one thing. You just got to get your fix today.
Yeah, your day is about going and getting that, and it actually makes your life a lot simpler in a lot of ways than most people.
I mean, what you have to do it might be very complicated.
Oh yeah, the adventures, the sheer thrill of it all.
If you remember it.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Get your fix?
I don't know. No. What was that whole thing you were just saying? Oh my God. What?
No, why were we saying this? Because you were like...
I don't know. I had something, but I lost it because I was laughing about something. I can't even remember what I was laughing about now.
What led us to heroin? Oh, we were talking about thruples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that becomes the
thing you focus your attention on.
Yeah, which feels very noble when you're doing it.
Yeah, you're sharing love and time and attention, and like to be in a relationship is like the craziest way to like give yourself to someone else, because you're like, if you are in a relationship where you're that person and their needs become more important than your own, or like mood or whatever, like it's like mood. It's like we become like psychological slaves to each other's moods. Like,
yeah,
what can I do to make sure that you stay happy?
I know.
How do we keep...
And you and I are like that with each other.
Yeah.
So we extend that to new people that come in, but new people might not have as much respect for that. That we're like, okay, well, relationships are top priority. We're in a relationship with you now. This is top priority, and yeah, they might not take advantage.
It doesn't matter. It's like three. It's hard enough doing two people.
That's what I'm saying.
Keeping their head screwed on.
Yeah.
Make it three people trying to keep your head screwed on, and you're like.
There's a lot of sacrifice, because that's what life is. if you want to be single, it's not going to require that much sacrifice. Being in a couple, you're going to have to start doing some major sacrifice to make that work. Being in a throuple, major sacrifice to make that work. And being in a community is sacrifice. That's it. It's self-sacrifice. So, I don't know. I think that the weird thing is with these thruples is the way we like to do them is kind of like set the stage and be like, look, there's no power dynamic here. We're all on equal footing. Nobody's more important than anyone else. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's just do our thing. And it's kind of a crazy thing to do because you're dealing with 3 adults who have been living life and collecting data points and just fucking are righteous. So if you disagree about things, that's 3 people that feel right. It's hard enough to do it in a couple to like be like, all right, fuck it. I don't care if I'm right. I'm probably wrong, actually. You know, it's hard enough to do that, but doing it in a throuple is like, it's fucking intense. Everything is more intense, you know, and people are like, I think that they look at us and they're like, oh, they're a cautionary tale or whatever. And we might seem like that sometimes, but the truth is like we had and have had more incredible highs than I think most people could gather in many lifetimes. And
oh, I loved it. Most minutes of it.
Most minutes of most days are like spent in like, can you fucking believe this bliss? And then you pay the price. There's the shadow side to that. And hopefully in the process, the only reason we ever do anything is to figure out who we are and how to be us a little bit better. So if you're not using your art to do that, or your community, or your relationship, or your side girlfriend, to figure out just more and more who you are and how you want that to look and how you want that to express in the universe, dialing it in, you know? Sometimes dialing it in is focusing down. I think that's the conclusion of this one.
Dialing it in is focusing down.
Yeah, sometimes. Because what are we saying? This has been the best year ever, and it's been through us dialing it in. And what did we dial in? That we need to slow the fuck down. And for most people, that would be focusing down. Is to purposely say at our age, like, slow it down. We got to slow it down.
Yeah, a kid's not going to slow it down. We just have to slow it. Kids doesn't slow it down.
No,
I'm sure it speeds it up.
Fucking kidding
but
me?
I think in some ways probably having a kid does slow it down because it comes back to the home.
Yeah.
It might feel like a lot of chaos in the home, but it's all of a sudden there's nowhere to go because the most important thing is to keep your baby alive.
Longer days, shorter years, it feels like. You know, where you're just like, holy shit, this fucking thing, this little piece of shit is 12 years old.
Stop.
This thing started as a piece of shit. And now it's here. I did have a fucking very vivid dream, though.
I know,
that
it
I
freaked
held
me
a
out.
little baby.
Yeah, it freaked me out.
And I protected it because nobody else cared. You know? It was climbing a wall, like very similar to this. And it got up to a height that everyone was like, oh no. And I was like, is no one gonna? And I just took the baby because no one else could reach it. That was a big part of it. Like, I had to do it. Because I was like, there was a people up here, and I like kind of went through them, and I was like, I'm the only one that could reach it, and I reached the baby, and I took him, and I just laid flat on the floor, and he just fell asleep, and I was just protecting him from all these fucking people. Very weird dream.
What do you think the baby was a metaphor for something else? Or
No, it was our friend's baby, Casper.
I know, but you're really, yeah. Were you taking care of Casper, or was it your baby, which might be
It's me. It's all me. I mean, Casper is me, but I don't know, probably metaphorically in this dream, it was me as a sexy adult man with integrity going back and fucking protecting my little baby child version of myself.
Okay.
You know, who wants to fucking scale the wall, who wants to fucking go berserker mode, but just fucking needs to focus down, dial it in, lay down, catch a little rest, and just know that I'm protected.
I guess where I'm getting to is it doesn't matter if it's focus down or focus up. The important part is focus.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, because we're change the lens, not the landscape people. You know.
Yeah.
The landscape is the landscape. That's just kind of the inherent set of circumstances. So, how do you want to see it? Do you want to see it as teeming with life and possibilities? Or do you want to see it as a one-way ticket from the cradle to the grave? I mean, I can kind of oscillate between both depending on what serves me more in any given moment.
Yeah, totally.
But I think kind of what we're trying to articulate on this here podcast is that while we're in the magic hour of a year, you should really take it in and kind of take those lessons ahead. Learn how to appreciate more, a little bit deeper. You know, connect a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
What if that was the only thing that we needed to do to make next year better? Not fill it with more razzle dazzle. Same thing, just a little deeper.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it. So a little bit more focus.
We had a moment the other day where you were like, "That was the best." We watched the Mets game with your family, and I dropped off some hummus to it. Or your aunt who lives next door, and we were both like, "That was the best day." You were like, "It means so much to me getting my family watching the Mets and Katie," and we put a little orange bandana on Magic, and I was like, being that we're so close, or that we're friends with your aunt that lives nearby, like that feels good to me. Like, and we were both saying how this is. Today we're celebrating it because it feels like years of little intentions. Like, okay, we want to slow down and spend time with the family and
more positivity, laughing, you know. And now the whole house, everyone's screaming and cheering,
dancing around,
my parents are hugging and kissing each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I had to tell you, I was like, just so you know, last night was like a culmination of years of little ways of righting the ship.
Yeah.
Little suggestions, planting seeds. You know, if anyone listening to this, if their family's anything like mine or yours, it's like people aren't going to enthusiastically embrace change. So it's going to happen slowly over time, and maybe through you continuing to suggest things. And like I know that's how it is for my sister. My sister operates on a very different level than most people. And she went from like only eating fucking like chicken fingers, like in everything just drenched in ketchup, to like eating a pimp tight diet like us, like eating lentil soups, eating fucking beautiful sourdough and no butter. It's just like we put olive oil on things. Like we got her so dialed in, and it couldn't have happened all at once because she would have refused, because she would have felt the change too much. And your ego wants to hold on to the things that are recognizable and within the pattern and are comforting. So even when you're presenting change to yourself or your family, it should come in the like kind of gradual packages are also available. And I think that the other night was the payoff of that gradual hard work of expanding the consciousness beyond the world is falling down, Chicken Little, Trump is coming to kill us energy, into look, it's mid-October, it's beautiful, we have the windows open, Cass made a beautiful fucking lentil soup, the whole family's here, we're celebrating, the Mets are pulling off fucking crazy-ass miracles, and we're listening to music, we're dancing, we're hanging out, like you could just feel them, you're like,
well, you always
say
to celebrate our wins, you know, you're like,
yeah.
I'm more humble than that, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I feel like you've really introduced me to like, if you celebrate your wins, you'll recognize better what they even are. Like the fact that was such a win for us, like it was a win for me because I was like, I want to make food for people. Like I want to be able to share food. And it's like, okay, it's a little moment. I'm not like doing it every day. And I like when I first moved upstate, I had this like big ambition that I was going to like feed the neighborhood every day.
Yeah.
You know? So
exactly.
Like, you think, oh, I'll just like cook for everybody. And
everyone
like,
will be coming over to pick up my cooking. And it's like, meanwhile, we don't see people for months at a time.
Not about it being my cooking, but being like, okay, how can I like contribute up here, you know? And so it's like, okay, it's maybe taking a little longer to expand and to be able to share food, but it's like this is a little direction that I want to be going. And you get like it just feels like a win, and you're like that to celebrate and get such a dopamine blast off of like finally doing my own hummus from chickpeas,
and
dried chickpeas.
To get a dopamine blast or whatever gratitude sets off. It might even be serotonin, but like to get that from what might to most people just appear as just a normal day. And I'm like, no, you have no idea. Katie was laughing. My dad was dancing around. You know, my mom was excited and cheering, and the perfect food and the perfect weather, and just like really, you know, it's very special. And it might appear to just be a regular day, but like I think when my parents aren't here anymore, that's what I'm gonna look back on the most. So it's like remember them. It's not gonna be the like, oh, remember the big vacation or remember Tribeca Film Festival and my parents were like not really. Like the stuff that I'm gonna yearn for when they're not here anymore is those nights. Is like fucking the Mets are doing it. And having the context of they know they raised me. We raised a little Mets freak, and he's been waiting for this his whole life. And it means so much to him, and it means a lot to us. And to know how rare it is, because we all fucking have paid attention for so long, that I'm like Cass, even if we have to cancel all plans, even if October is a wash in just paying attention to this, it'll mean something to my soul. It does, and because it means me bonding with my parents in a different way, you know, and the conversation's steering in a much more positive direction, and it's rare, and I know that, and I'm like, we haven't been in the playoffs since 2016. There hasn't been a World Series berth in 2015. There hasn't been a World Series win since 1986. So you get while the getting's good.
Well, it just makes me think of why like Red Sox fans probably are so crazy because every year they were like, I mean, I know they won it after a while, but like every year was like watching them get so close. Like, and if the Mets just start being like a better team and maybe somehow don't clinch the World Series, then we're just like, you're on this train where you're like, oh, it might be this year. This might be the year.
You're on a different kind of train. Yeah, yeah. Let's switch over and do some more on the Patreon.
Okay.
You know, talk about some babes and shit.
All the babes we have to talk about after. Yeah. All right.
Cool. Yeah, patreon.com/churchofchill. We're chilling. We're going to go over there and chill right now.
Okay. See you over there.